I think at one time, MRAs, men's rights advocates, were almost a little bit apologetic. And now that's kind of gone.
For the record, you can tell us your name and what it is you do.
Mike Buchanan. I lead a British political party, Justice for Men and Boys, which we launched in 2013. And it remains the only political party fighting for the human rights of men and boys in the English-speaking world.
How does that compare at all to Philip Davies, out of curiosity?
Okay, Philip Davies is a very interesting character. He spoke at the London conference last year, you might recall. He's the only MP out of 650 who ever talks about real gender equality, who ever talks on men's issues. Although he wouldn't call himself a men's rights activist, he wouldn't call himself, I don't think, even an anti-feminist. But he referred to feminist zealots in his conference speech, and that kind of upset a lot of people. the people that we like to upset, so it was all good. Now we've just had a very strange general election in the UK. Theresa May, who once famously wore a "This is what a feminist looks like" T-shirt, had a smallish majority for the Conservatives, but a working one. She was getting legislation through. And she decided, out of the blue, to the amazement of, I think, most people in the party and most Conservative supporters, to go to the country. So she basically announced an election with 7 weeks' notice, which was too small for us, which is why we didn't stand in it. But the results came through a day or two ago, and Theresa May has managed to lose the Conservative majority. So they've really shot themselves in the foot. She will be forming the next government with the help of the Democratic Unionist Party, who have, I think, about 10 MPs. But one of the most interesting things for us was Philip Davies's seat. He was being challenged by a woman called Sophie Walker, who we call Sophie Donuts Walker, for reasons I might explain later if we have a bit of time. But she's the leader of the Women's Equality Party. That's a great name, isn't it? And it was basically being billed by the feminists, by feminists in general, as being a great battle between feminists and anti-feminists. Although I'm not sure, as I say, Philip would even use the term anti-feminist, but it was he's somebody who advocates for genuine gender equality, so he's therefore a sexist, misogynist pig, so the results came through, and I've got to say, it was like it was one of the happiest things. Well, it was just it made my year, quite frankly. So Philip Davies not only increased his vote slightly and his share of the vote to 51%. Sophie Walker, so that was 27,000 votes and a bit. Sophie Walker got 1,000. So for every vote Sophie Walker got, Philip Davies got 26. Life does not get much better, no, as far as I'm concerned. That was just the best news. And there was some wonderful fake news that went out beforehand to say that she'd actually beaten him. And of course, there was lots of feminist rejoicing and lots of bitter tears when the truth came out. So that's Philip Davies. But he's often said that he gets private support from other MPs across the political spectrum, but none of the other 649 MPs will come out publicly. But something hopefully that they've taken from Philip's re-election is that you can criticise feminists and the sky doesn't fall down. You don't lose your seat. I mean, 26-1 against the most prominent feminist politician Britain's ever, in the modern era. Yeah. So I think we'll increasingly find, particularly Conservative MPs, have the courage to say, to be more honest on gender matters.
This is the ICMI 2017.
Yeah.
What's the energy like for this ICMI compared to the ones from the past? Did you go to all the
Yes,
previous ones?
yeah. I went to the last two and spoke at the last two, and it's extraordinary how different the first was in Detroit in 2014, and the last one in London last year, and with each conference, there seems to be an increasing confidence, I think, among men's rights. I think at one time, MRAs, men's rights advocates, were almost a little bit apologetic, and now that's kind of gone. Increasingly men are are proud to stand up as MRAs. And we've also, of course, recently had the Red Pill from Cassie Jaye, which is undoubtedly a game changer, I think. And more women, prominent women, are happy to be known as anti-feminists.
I've noticed that.
And we have in the UK the Liberty Bells, who most of them are also ladies for Philip Davies, which was a wonderful creation, I think. And it's not so much that it's cool for women to come out. They look at the really smart women, Karen Strawn, Alison Tiemann, and so many others, and they see people that they can respect, not just women they can respect, but women that they can respect, and just really coming out as anti-feminists, not as non-feminists. I mean, a lot of women stop at the non-feminist bit, because they really don't want the hassle that goes with being an anti-feminist. But I think, as a class, women are really finding their courage. It's taken some time, but then most men haven't got there yet, have they? So I really take my hat off to women like that.
So why did you create Justice for Men and Boys, and what did you hope to achieve with it?
Okay, well, there wasn't at that time, and in fact there isn't today, a men's rights political party in the English-speaking world. And we tried campaigning, for example, through a couple of things that I started, the Anti-Feminism League and the Campaign for Merit in Business, and just didn't get any mainstream media traction. And we got little in the way of donations. And it struck us that perhaps the formation of a political party might lead to both mainstream media coverage and an income stream. And I'm pleased to say both happened almost immediately. So within I think 3 or 4 days of forming the party in February 2013, I was on the Jeremy Vine show, which is a 7.5 or 8 million, audience radio show, and I must have been on British media, and in fact the BBC in the main, 120, 130 times since then. And there's nobody else, I don't think, that is kind of getting any mainstream media coverage. I mean, we'd like a lot more, but we are getting, it's early days still, and it will grow. And I'm very much hoping that one of the things I'll have in my talk tomorrow is that there's a number of developments I'd like to see, and one of them is the formation of an Australian men's rights party. The electoral system in Australia is something that in the UK we can only dream of as a men's rights party. Yes, so they have proportional representation. They also have something, I don't think it's unique to Australia, but it's very unusual. I don't think it occurs in Europe anywhere. People have to vote. No matter what they think, they might think every damn party is corrupt to the core, but people legally have to vote here. And they have a transferable vote, so if the first choice doesn't succeed, then it's transferred. And so it could be that a men's rights party could be the recipient of a lot of transferable votes. And it could be that the first member of parliament or even senator could be here in Australia, because they have that system for both the lower house and the upper house. So it's an extraordinary system, and I really hope some Australians will do it.